Welcome to Healed, Whole, Called, the podcast where stories of trauma meet the healing power of Jesus. Each week, we journey with women who have walked through pain, wrestled through the process, and now stand in the promise of who God called them to be. This is more than storytelling. This is sacred space, where honesty is welcome, healing is possible, and hope is alive. And now, here's your host, Wendy Melrose.
I have the honor of introducing my friend, Jess Moyer, who is a transformative wellness coach, TEDx speaker, and author of 3 powerful books. She equips women and leaders to live their most aligned lives through her signature R.E.A.L framework, focused on mindset, meals, and movement. But beyond her professional expertise, Jess is a proud wife of 27 years to Jason and a devoted mom of 4. Jess brings more strategies. She brings her story after losing her infant son, Stephen, 2 more babies in utero, and her father. Jess now walks alongside others navigating deep grief. Her mission? To offer hope, healing, and light in the storm so no one feels alone in their journey. Hey!
Hey, Wendy.
So I would love for you to kind of share at the beginning, like what was like, I know that we talked about like the pain that you've been through in the introduction, but what was that moment or season of hardship that you walked through specifically?
Well, I was a young mom. I had my firstborn, Isabel, at the age of, I think I was 25. And it's crazy because she's 26 now. I don't know how that happened. But Isabel was a preemie. We were newly married. My husband was in school. I was working. Just a lot of like stress already with the newborn. And then we moved to Maryland. My husband was owed 4 years to the Army. So we settled in Maryland, and I got pregnant with my second child, Stephen. I'll keep a very long story short. The pregnancy was a little odd, but everything seemed to be okay. Stephen was born on June 3rd of 2001. And within a couple weeks, my mama gut was like, something is not right with this child. I don't know what it is, but just the warning lights were starting to go off. And took him to the pediatrician. They assured me he was fine, that it was just like he was slower to like reach those milestones. And a few weeks later, I still was like, something is not right. So we went to Bethesda Naval Hospital. He was 4 months of age. And within a few minutes, the doctor, it was a pediatric neurologist, basically told me that Stephen had a neurological or neuromuscular disease called spinal muscular atrophy. And at that point, I thought, if this is what I'm dealt and he's disabled, that's what I'll do. Like, that's my child. But within the next breath, she was telling me that there was no treatment or cure and that Stephen would pass, most likely by his first birthday. So as any parent that listening to this can imagine, just the worst news that anyone could ever receive. And at that moment, my world truly crashed. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. And so the next months were filled with just caring for him and hospice and just, I won't go into details, but it was hard. It was really hard. The toughest season of my life. And so Stephen passed at the age of 9 months. And what was really ironic was Stephen, it's like he waited. My niece was born March 1st. Mm-hmm. And it's like Stephen waited till just a few hours into March 2nd. Wow. It was like he didn't want it to be the same day. Oh. So it was almost like my brother was having a child and Stephen was leaving the world. It was very bittersweet. And I believe that, he waited for a reason. Yeah. And so just an awful time. I lost another baby, actually a day after his funeral. I miscarried. Just went through a lot more loss after that. Sure. And so it was just a very dark season in my life. And everyone experiences seasons like that, and maybe obviously different. But I found purpose through that. I started a nonprofit with my family in Stephen's memory. And today we continue to support that nonprofit. And, every storm we walk through, every trauma trial in our life can truly lead to triumph and beauty if we allow it to.
Right. So take us through that moment when everything began to shift. What did the healing journey look like? Yeah, you started the nonprofit, but what more did you do?
Well, fortunately, I had Isabel to give me purpose after Stephen passed because I just didn't know how to carry on. It was tough. Mm-hmm. And again, my husband was in the Army, so we were worried about his deployment. So I really just, you put one foot in front of the other in those
Mm-hmm.
situations. So the nonprofit was great. We did a lot of fundraising and other family support, meeting with other families who had been affected by spinal muscular atrophy. But it was years, Wendy. It was years of getting by in
Mm-hmm.
survival mode. And I think it took till my early 40s. I had two more healthy boys. I was very active in the community and life, but I still just didn't feel fulfilled. And I felt very sad inside still.
Mm.
And in my early 40s, I realized I had to do more to heal myself and then to support others in their journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I attended a John Maxwell certification in 2000, I think it was 17 or 18, and then found Zig Ziglar
Mm-hmm.
and went to a Ziglar Legacy certification in 2020, opened my gym. So things just started falling into place when I started to do the healing work, right?
Right.
Healed whole called. And my relationship, I've always had a relationship with God and praying a lot, but it really started to unfold and become deeper the more I dug deeper into myself.
So how did God meet you in that pain?
Yeah, well, be honest. I mean, for the first couple of years, you're angry when something like that happens. You don't understand why God would take a child, and now looking back, it's not his fault, right? I think we want to blame, or we'll never understand certain things in life.
Mm-hmm.
However, God came through in so many ways through the people I met, through all of our charity work, through my other children. So I saw God show up in so many other ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my pain, I realized that God was there for every step of the way. And I just had to have that faith in the not being able to see it, but knowing that this was my journey and that God was going to be there for me.
So then what were some of the key steps and habits that really helped you heal?
Well, I've always been very active, like in exercise and movement. I was a gymnast, I was a runner, I was just always into fitness. And so for me, turning to movement, specifically at that point, running, that was kind of my outlet. That helped me a lot. That was like my time to spend with myself and to really heal. We did some races and memories, Stephen. So not only was running like healing mentally, but it helped raise money for a cause. And so
Mm-hmm.
I turned to things that were good for me instead of, it'd be very easy to turn to alcohol or drugs or other vices. But for me, I tried to really pour my energy into outlets that were more positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really important when you're going through a very painful time in life, is to find things that can help heal you,
Mm-hmm.
not just physically, but emotionally and mentally and spiritually. And so for me, it was movement. It was giving back to the community. They were probably the two biggest things. Pouring
So
into my children.
yeah. Well, we all know, and I know that you've been learning a lot about the human body over the last, decade and stuff, but one of the things that I know is grief can settle in our lungs. Did you notice any of that? I was just super curious.
I noticed I was sick for a while after. I was carrying a lot of high cortisol levels of being stressed all the time. I was in fight
Mm-hmm.
or flight because after Stephen passed, and then I went through all these other losses, I constantly was in survival mode thinking something else was going to happen. So if you
Mm-hmm.
think like a tiger's attacking you, like I felt like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so my body was in a state of inflammation, and I was working out a lot, which isn't the best thing to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
working out, and I was teaching a lot of classes. And so my body was truly in this really crazy inflammation and survival mode. And so, yeah, my body was acting out. It took me a while to realize that's what was going on. But yes, grief can absolutely live in your body and come out in pretty ugly ways.
So what is the best way for you? Like, because obviously you just said kind of a key word that working out wasn't adding to the healing part of it. It was not like it was hurting, but you were doing so much and your body, I'm guessing, wasn't really able to really rest and come down. And so what was it that you did to help your body process those cortisol levels and your inflammation? Like obviously we know that what we eat is really important to making sure we can reduce the inflammation inside our body. But was it also breathing and resting? Because you are so driven. how hard was it for you to really find rest?
Yeah, I'm still working on that. I'm going to be honest. I take it like for those that like love to work out or feel the need to work out, I do rest at least one day a week, which could be stretching. It could be yoga. It could be a meditation. I spend a lot of time in prayer, especially at night when I have trouble sleeping. But yeah, I just had to start really, and I tell this to all my clients, you must listen to your body. It's like a car. If there's warning lights going off, it's telling you something. And oftentimes we take our car in, but when it's our body, we keep suppressing those signals. And it is so significant to really be in tune with what's going on and to seek, professional help if you're noticing that something is alarming in your body. And so for me, it was just really tuning in and saying, okay, I need to slow down. I need to slow my roll and breathe and just, calm down. And so it's a work in progress.
Yeah. And I know that you and I have been friends for a while and really been diving into the health and healing journey as friends in the last couple months. And I remember saying to you, like, hey, I just realized something. Like when my life begins to calm down and gets below a level, I create chaos to get my body back up into the comfortable zone. And I was talking with my holistic wellness practitioner that she's like, yeah, our bodies have a base level on where it's likes to have its stress. And it's set younger, or it can be reset, like things what happened in our lives, like what you had gone through. She goes, and when it goes below, unless you learn how to actually deal with it going below, you'll cause something to happen for you to get back up to where you're comfortable and be in high stress again. Did you notice yourself doing that at all? Like, because like you were so used to being at high fight or flight that when your body would calm down, did you cause problems in your life to make your stress levels go back up? I'm super curious.
I know that is such a great question. And I think you actually made me aware of that when you said that, because I thought, oh my gosh, I might do that. I might seek out things to create worry. Like, I think so many of us do that. Like we create this panic or worry, we get into this mode because that's what we're so used to. And so it's awareness. Awareness is so key to say, okay, like, is this really worth the stress and the anxiety and, all of that?
Right.
And so I'm learning to be very in tune with that. But it's hard because if you're conditioned and wired a certain way for so long, it's like habits. It's like habitual. We got to really do the work to bring it back down.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's so good. And, even in my own journey of health and wellness and stuff, we have to give our bodies, when we heal from the inside out. Yes, I want to look like Jessica, right? I do. But she's also, if you were to stand us next to each other, I tower over her because she's this cute little petite thing. So
I had no idea you were such a tall model, Wendy. When we met, I was like, wow, she's so tall. And I know I'm so short. But listen, the whole thing is like God has given us a vessel, right?
Right.
And our job is to take care of that vessel.
Right.
With whatever capacity we can, because everyone has different things they're struggling with or have to overcome. And so it's important to meet yourself where you're at versus that whole comparison journey.
Right.
And I've worked on this a lot too. Like we can look at people and gosh, oh, they have it all, but we have to work with what God's given us and really take care of it. And to me, you mentioned food, like our nutrition is key to our health.
Right.
And part of like heal is health, right? That's the heal is in the word health. And so we can truly heal our bodies more naturally through the food we eat, through breath work, through community, through nature. There's so many other ways we can heal, but we just need to, again, you got to put the work in and be aware of what your body needs, because what you need is going to be very different from what I need.
Right. And then another key component to all of that is to give ourselves time.
Yes.
Because healing from the inside out is going to take time, because to get the organs working out, getting our hormones working about, and you actually just completed a certification on hormone function and getting that all to work. And I'm super excited to see what God does in and through that part, because people don't understand. Like, I literally had a guy, he goes, well, you don't understand, the reason why you're not losing weight is because you have to take in less than what you're putting, work out more than you're taking in. And I'm like, you're missing a massive problem here. You are not taking into the equation the complexity of hormones and how they play on the ability of the body to function properly.
Yes.
And he goes, well, I guess I'm going to have to research that. I'm like, yes, you do. Like, I'm like, look here, don't just tell me, take in less, work out more, boom, your body looks like Jessica. It's not that simple. And so, yes, it is a part of the formula, but it is not the whole equation.
Exactly.
And I love your heart. And you look at people with such kindness and without judgment. Like, I love how you just love me where I'm at. And that's one of my most favorite things about you. And I get a little emotional about it.
Thank you.
So let's talk about like where you are today and how is God using your story, because you guys have moved. Your husband's no longer in the Army. You were living in Delaware. Now you're living in North Carolina. So God has done a lot of moving in the last, year and a half, 2 years maybe. And I remember witnessing it. And I've also been through some massive change in business and stuff. You sold the gym, all the things. Like, but what is God doing now? Like, because he's done a lot.
Yeah. There's seasons in our life, and this season has been very challenging. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. We made a lot of decisions, and we spent a lot of time thinking about it, but we made a lot of changes all at once. And with change comes disruption and discomfort. And the past 6 months were pretty hard on me personally. And I had to become quiet, and I had to spend time with really what is God trying to tell me? What is next for me? And so it's taken a lot of work and discomfort and being quiet with myself, which is very hard to do. And so I'm still in that process. I've met some incredible people where we've moved. I've met a coach that has taken me under his wings and really is guiding me towards the next step. And it's someone that believes in me. And I believe God puts people in our life when we need them. And this gentleman came into my life at a time where I knew God. It was like an angel. And so he's someone that believes in me, and he's helping me create this new path of inspiring women who are struggling to find their purpose in their health, but also secondly, helping leaders who have put so much into their business and professional life that they've neglected their health. And so it's twofold. And so I'm really building out this next step through my R.E.A.L framework, which I should explain that a little. R.E.A.L stands for, number one, I believe in being authentic. That's so important. I don't believe in all these gimmicks and quick fixes. And so I'm very authentic. You see what you get what you see with me. And so that's number one. But R.E.A.L stands for, number one, making real changes. Ones that it's going to take a little time, like you mentioned, but small changes, creating new habits slowly. R stands for being resilient, right? We're going to fail. Everyone fails. So getting back up and pushing forward. E is energy. What types of energy are we using to create good change in our life and in our health? A is taking action, because nothing changes if we keep just analyzing and not moving forward and taking action. And it's all based on the premise of L, which is loving yourself first. We must show ourselves love first in order to be there for everyone else. And I can say that I worked with so many people in the past who are doing for everyone else, which is great, but they're neglecting their health, and therefore, they have to be reactive versus proactive. And so this R.E.A.L framework and this system takes people through a process where they can identify ways to make those lasting changes to get real results.
Oh, that's good. And one of the things I was reading the other day in a devotion was, we as women, Well, sometimes we'll say, God first, husband, children, us last. Or God first, husband, us last, if there's no children in there. But for whatever reason, we're taking that to such a literal form that we're sacrificing ourselves. And Jesus has done the sacrifice. We are not to be to the point where we are feel like we have to let ourselves be so burdened by all the things, giving more than what we're able to satisfy our relationship with the Lord, our husband, our children, and everything else. Because if there is no self, there is none of the other things.
Yep. You said it.
So, while a well-meaning church can say, hey, and I'm not saying be so selfish that you put yourself above God and above husband, but we are to be equal to husband, love, support each other, not sacrifice to the point where there's nothing left of us anymore.
Yes. And that's what I have witnessed so often is that especially moms who are just like doing it all for everyone else and caring for everyone else, and then they're burnt out, and then they're making bad choices or things, quick fixes, and it's a cycle. Right. And so my hope is that women really at a young age start to realize that my health, my body, my spirit is important. Right. Then I can do all those things. Right. And show up in a way that God wants me to.
Right. There's a book that I'm reading so I can help equip my daughter to do that. It's called She Deserves More. And it's mostly in relation to like sexuality and relationships, but it also isn't just about a relationship with your husband. It's a relationship with other people and making sure that, hey, she does deserve more. And, so often we forget God created us in his image, and we are to love others as we want to be loved, or serve others as we want to be served, or however it works. I'm sorry if I'm screwing it all up, whatever in scripture. But my point is that nobody wants to receive from someone who has nothing to offer.
They're true.
My gosh. So I would love to finish this off. I always give everyone a choice. So would you want to speak a word of encouragement over the women listening to this right now who are in the space where, let's just say that they have lost children or parents, and they just are in a point where they feel so sad. They don't know where to go. They just feel mad at the world because their world just crashed around them, right? Or you can choose a prayer over them. Your choice.
Yeah, I'd be honored. Well, I think just walking through my journey, I've realized, number one, we're never alone, even though we feel that way.
Right.
And so ask for help. There's someone that wants to help you. I mean, in our community last week in a group, I saw a woman post about losing a child and just feeling so lonely. So I reached out to her. So if you have an opportunity in your life to lift someone, do it. Don't hesitate. That's why we're here, right? So walk along someone, whether, you can be that person, or if you're the one going through it, seek out help. Because oftentimes, especially women, we don't want to feel weak or vulnerable, and men. Sure. So that's one. Two is you're going to have to be uncomfortable in your pain. You're going to have to seek things that give you hope and purpose, even when you don't want to, if that makes sense. So for me, it was, I don't know why this happened to Stephen, for disease I had never heard of, but how can I make a difference because of his life? Right. And so whatever that might be in a small way for people is to reach outside yourself, because sometimes that'll lift you up. And that's not to say you're not going to have horrible days where you don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want to eat, or you don't want to talk to someone, because that's normal too. That there's no right or wrong process. However, you have to push yourself sometimes, even in those really heavy times. And it gets a little easier each day. So seek help, look for things that can offer hope and purpose, and know that the process, you never get over grief. It's always going to leave a scar, but the light will shine a little more each day. So I guess they would be my three tips.
Nice. That's so amazing. And I know you have an online community for women to reach out to. Is that on Facebook?
Yes, it's called Real Wellness for Women. It's a public online community where I just post like uplifting things, or I do workouts daily, or nutrition, just ways to just help women in a positive way.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jess, for sharing your heart with us today. To our listeners, remember your story isn't over. You are not disqualified by what you've been through. With Jesus Christ, you are healed, whole, and called. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on Healed, Whole, Called. If this episode spoke to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe and share it with someone who needs to know that healing is possible, purpose is real, and God is still restoring. And before you go, visit resilience-press.com and download your free copy of Get to the Point of Self-Publishing, Wendy's guide to help you move from stuck to published with clarity and confidence. You'll find it in the free resources section. Until next time, stay rooted in truth, covered in grace, and always moving toward the promise.